this video, I will be discussing about ADDIE model, this diagram right here. So, we will tackle about what is ADDIE model for, its goal and purposes, and how does it help students in their education. But first, let's find out what is the definition or what is ADDIE model. ADDIE model is a process used by training developers and instructional designers to plan and create effective learning experiences. It is generic enough that it can be used to create any type of learning experiences for any audiences. So, this is the diagram of this model. Since ADDIE is an abbreviation for A, analysis, D for design, D for development, I for implementation, and E for evaluation. So let's discuss first what is analysis. Analysis. A quality analysis helps identify learning goals and objectives. It also helps gather information about what your audience already knows and what they still need to learn. To perform good analysis, just ask questions about who, what, why, where, when, and also how. Design. The design phase helps us decide specific learning objectives, structure of the content, mental processes needed by participants' knowledge or skills participants need to retain, best tools to use videos or graphics to create and length of time for each lesson. The third is development. The developing phase is where you actually begin creating or developing your e-learning course. This means laying out the content visually, creating graphics, recording ideas, carefully selecting fonts and colors, building the course in the e-learning authority tool. The fourth one is the implementation. It is time to present and teach the course material to your learners. Here, you're not only paying attention to learners' reaction to the course itself, you're also looking at whether the delivery mode is working, since your e-learning course has been created, tested, and approved. The last is the evaluation. After the e-learning course is designed, developed, and implemented, you want to make sure it's doing its job. Is the course effective? Are your learners confused? The evaluation phase is all about gathering important information to see if the course needs to be revised and improved. Also, even though ADDIE has some advantages like commonly used, easy to measure time and cost, it has also disadvantages of ADDIE like rigid linear process does not allow to iterative design, time-consuming, and costly. In this video, I will be explaining to you about Merrill's principle of instruction. It is developed by David Merrill, a respected educational researcher and teacher, studied various instructional design theories and models to identify a number of principles common to each. So this is the diagram. Learners are engaged in solving real-world problems. Existing knowledge is activated as a foundation for new knowledge. New knowledge is demonstrated to the learners. New knowledge is applied by the learner, and new knowledge is integrated into the learner's world. I'm David Merrill. So Merrill's first principle of instruction is a set of problem-based teaching strategies that have been shown to be extremely effective. From Merrill's research, he established 5 instructional design, those I have mentioned. The first one is the problem-centered or the first principle. Problem-centered learning supports constructivist theories. Learners construct their own understanding by building on their previous knowledge and experiences. So there are 3 phases: show task, task level, and problem progression. The second principle is activation. Learning is promoted when existing knowledge is activated as a foundation for new knowledge. So there are 3 phases of activation: previous experiences, new experiences, and structure. The third principle is the demonstration, or it is also called show me. So, learning is promoted when new knowledge is demonstrated to the learner. So, the three phases in demonstration is demonstration consistency, learner guidance, and relevant media. The fourth principle is application, or the let me part. So, learning is promoted when new knowledge is applied by the learner. So, the three phases here is practice consistency, diminishing culture, and varied problems. The fifth one principle is integration. So in integration, learning is promoted when new knowledge is integrated into the learner's world. So the three phases here are watch me, reflection, and creation. Applying Merrill's principles. So it is a crucial element that should never be overlooked is timely e-learning feedback. Thus, online instructors and facilitators must provide constructive criticism and highlight skills or information that require further attention. I will be discussing about Bloom's taxonomy. Although we will tackle more about the revised version of the Bloom's taxonomy in 2001 rather than the 1956 one. So what is Bloom's taxonomy? So Bloom's taxonomy is a tried and tested framework that steers educators towards creating impactful measurable learning objectives, stretching and challenging the boundaries of a learner's thinking. Bloom's taxonomy is a classification of the different outcomes and skills that educators set for their students' learning outcomes. The taxonomy was proposed in 1956 by Benjamin Bloom, an educational psychologist at the University of Chicago. So, like I've said, this is the original version in 1956 and the revised version in 2001. The revised version includes remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and also creating. But let's discuss first about the knowledge or remembering. It is the recalling and recognizing information. So these are the examples of verbs used in remembering. Define, identify, label, list, name, recall, recognize, reproduce, and select. The second one is understanding. It is explaining information and concepts. Here, you are interpreting, exemplifying, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and at the same time explaining. The third one is applying. Here is when you are using new information in specific situations. You apply, choose, demonstrate, dramatize, employ, illustrate, interpret, operate, practice, schedule, sketch, solve, and use. The fourth one is analyzing. It is when you are differentiating parts from a whole. You analyze a phrase, calculate, categorize, compare, contrast, criticize, differentiate, discriminate, distinguish, examine, experiment, question, and test. The fifth and the last one is evaluating. It is making judgments based on specific criteria. Here, you appraise, argue, assess, choose, compare, conclude, criticize, decide, defend, evaluate, judge, justify, prioritize, rate, and select. The sixth and the last one is creating. From the word create, it is to make something new. It is when you arrange, assemble, collect, combine, compose, construct, design, develop, formulate, generate, organize, plan, prepare, or produce. And that would be all for my discussion about Bloom's taxonomy.